Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something that changed my life. There comes a time in your life when you must look in the mirror and stop asking for permission to be great. A time when the voice inside you has to be louder than the noise around you. A time when you stop doubting, stop waiting, stop hesitating, and you decide, I can, I will, I must. Say it with me now. I can, I will, I must. You see, that phrase isn't just motivation. It's not just some feel-good affirmation. It's a declaration. It's a war cry. It's a contract with your destiny. Let me break this down for you. That's possibility. That's potential. That's the seed of greatness planted inside you. Now, some people look at their past, their mistakes, their environment, and they think that defines them. They say, I could never do that. People like me don't get ahead, or it's too late for me. But I'm here to tell you, your current situation is not your final destination. You can rise above the trauma. You can learn what you never knew. You can break the cycle. You can build the life you dream about when no one's looking. You have something special inside you, something the world hasn't seen yet. You just haven't tapped into it because you've been too busy listening to people who gave up on their own dream. Don't let other people's limitations become your prison. I can is about belief, and belief is powerful. Belief is the spark that lights the fire of action. Because once you believe it's possible, even if it's hard, even if it's messy, even if it takes time, you begin to move. You begin to stand up straighter. You begin to show up different. You begin to look life in the eye and say, I'm not running anymore. I'm not hiding anymore. I can do this. This is commitment. This is where belief turns into action. This is not just saying it, it's doing it. Because life doesn't give you what you want. It gives you what you're willing to work for, what you sweat for, what you sacrifice for. Let me be real with you. You're going to face resistance. You're going to face haters. You're going to face that voice in your head that tells you to quit, that tells you you're not enough. But when you say I will, you're telling the universe, I am not negotiating. I will show up when it's hard. I will fight when I'm tired. I will push through fear, through doubt, through pain, through rejection, because I'm not doing this for applause. I'm doing this because I have a calling, and that calling won't leave me alone. That's the power of I will. It's grit. It's resilience. It's staying the course when the emotions are gone and the excitement fades. It's waking up in the morning and choosing your purpose over your comfort. You've got to be willing to go after it like your life depends on it, because it does. Your dreams, your impact, your legacy, it all depends on how bad you want it. Say it again. Now this is the game changer. This is the fire. This is necessity. I must means this isn't optional. This isn't a nice to have. This is do or die. People ask me all the time, how do I stay motivated? I tell them when something becomes a must, you don't need motivation. You need breath. You need life. Because it becomes part of you. You don't negotiate with must. You don't put must on your vision board and hope for it. You bleed for it. You hustle for it. You sacrifice for it. You live and breathe it. When you say, I must, you tap into a level of purpose that no excuse can survive. Let me ask you, what in your life is a must? Feeding your kids, getting out of debt, healing from that past that tried to bury you, proving to yourself that you are not broken. You've got to find your why. Because when your why is deep enough, the how will reveal itself. You'll figure it out. You'll get back up. You'll learn what you need to learn. You'll fail your way forward. You'll stop being interested and start being committed. See, I can is belief. I will is action. I must is purpose. And when those three come together, you become unbreakable. You become the kind of person who walks into a storm and says, I was made for this. You become the kind of person who doesn't beg for a seat at the table. You build your own table. You become the kind of person who inspires others, not with your perfection, but with your perseverance. You don't have to be perfect to start. You don't have to have all the answers. All you need is the courage to believe, the heart to commit, and the fire to never stop. So the next time life hits you, and it will, don't fold, don't run. Stand tall, look life in the face and declare, I can, because the power is in me. I will, because I refuse to live in regret. I must, because my purpose is non-negotiable. Say it again, like your life depends on it. I can, I will, I must. Now go out there and live it. The greatest tragedy is not when people doubt you. It's when you begin to doubt yourself. Before anyone sees the value in you, you have to see it. Before anyone believes in your dreams, you've got to believe in them. Because if you don't believe, why should they? That belief is your starting point. It's the invisible force that carries you when the odds are stacked, when the doors are closed, when the lights are off and no one's clapping. You are going to walk a rope tight down some of these dark, unflattering, and coldish long roads when the lights are off and no one's clapping. And I share with you this story. As a junior professional, when you know you're capable, you've got to be your own first span, your own first voice of hope, your own spark in the darkness. Too often, we wait for permission. We wait for validation. We wait for someone to come and say, you're good enough now. You're ready. You're chosen. But life doesn't work like that. The world doesn't hand you your place. You've got to take it. And taking it starts with belief. Not the soft kind of belief. Not the kind that wavers every time things go wrong. I'm talking about unshakable, immovable belief. The kind that says, even if no one shows up, I will. The kind that says, even if they laugh, I'll keep going. That's the belief that changes everything. When you walk into a room with belief, people feel it. They may not know what it is, but they know it's there. It's in your voice. It's in your posture. It's in your eyes. It's the energy of someone who knows where they're going, even if they haven't arrived yet. And that kind of confidence draws people in. Not arrogance, not ego, but grounded, earned, lived in belief. The kind that comes from battling doubt in silence and still stand. Think about the greats, the legends, the icons. Before they were praised, they were rejected. Before they were recognized, they were ridiculed. What kept them moving wasn't applause, it was belief. A deep, relentless belief that they were called to do something bigger, that there was more inside them, and that one day the world would catch up. That's what you've got to tap into. Not because it's easy, not because it's comfortable, but because it's necessary. You will face critics. You will face silence. You will face moments where you wonder if it's even worth it. And in those moments, the only thing that will carry you is belief. Not the kind that depends on likes or approval, but the kind that lives in your gut, the kind that reminds you of why you started, the kind that refuses to let you quit. You don't need everyone to see your value. You just need to stop hiding it. Stop minimizing your gifts because someone else feels uncomfortable. Stop shrinking your dream because you're afraid of failing. The dream was given to you, not them. That vision lives in you for a reason, and it's your responsibility to protect it, nurture it, and walk it out, even when you walk alone. That's the test. Can you walk alone with belief until the crowd catches up? Can you believe in your voice before anyone hears it? In your book before it's published? In your business before it earns a dime? In your transformation before the world sees the results? Everybody has intentions. Everybody has a list of things they're going to do one day. The books they're going to write, the business they're going to start, the body they're going to build, the change they're going to make. But the graveyard is full of intentions. Dreams that never turned into action. Promises that never became plans. The truth is, intention without action is just a fantasy. It feels good to say it. It feels even better to imagine it. But nothing changes until you do something. You can talk about it all day. You can post about it. You can journal about it. But until your feet move, until your hands build, until your voice speaks, it's all just air. The world doesn't respond to what you want. It responds to what you do. It rewards those who show up when it's inconvenient, who grind when it's not glamorous, who act when no one's watching. Action is what separates the dreamers from the doers. Action is what makes your intentions real, and not just one big burst of effort, but consistent daily discipline. The small steps, the choices you make when nobody's there to check on you, the decision to show up again and again, even when the results aren't visible yet. That's the kind of action that compounds over time. That's the kind of action that builds momentum. But let's be clear. Action doesn't always feel good. Action is uncomfortable. It stretches you. It forces you to face fear, to fight procrastination, to confront your excuses. That's why so many people stay stuck in intention, because it's safe there. No risk, no failure, no judgment, just endless potential with zero responsibility. But the cost of staying there is too high. You trade progress for comfort. You trade purpose for safety. You trade impact for illusion. The people who win in life aren't the smartest. They're not the most talented. They're the ones who act. The ones who do what others only talk about. The ones who are willing to look foolish while they're learning. The ones who don't need perfect conditions, just a reason to start. They understand that clarity comes from engagement, not overthinking. You figure it out by doing. You grow by moving. Every breakthrough you want is on the other side of action. Confidence doesn't come first. You build it by showing up. Clarity doesn't show up on your couch. You earn it in motion. Waiting doesn't work. Wishing doesn't work. Planning only works when it's followed by execution. You've got to live in motion. Stay in movement. Progress, even messy progress, is better than standing still with perfect intention. And don't confuse being busy with taking action. Being busy is easy. Anyone can be busy doing nothing that matters. Real action is strategic. It's aligned with your vision. It's uncomfortable, intentional, and focused. It might not give you instant results, but it builds character. It builds habits. It creates change from the inside out. And over time, it transforms not only your life, but who you become in the process. So when you feel stuck, don't ask yourself what you want. Ask yourself what you're willing to do. Not just today, but tomorrow and the next day and the next. That's how you earn progress. That's how you create results. By choosing action over excuses, movement over comfort, discipline over delay. Because dreams don't work unless you do. Pain is not your enemy. It's a messenger. It shows up when something needs your attention, when something has to change, when something inside you is being tested. Most people try to avoid pain, They run from it, numb it, deny it. But pain ignored becomes pain multiplied. The key is not to escape it, it's to transform it. Because pain, when harnessed, becomes power. It becomes fuel. It becomes the very thing that shapes your strength, sharpens your focus, and anchors your purpose. Some of the most powerful people in the world didn't start with privilege. They didn't come from perfect circumstances. They came from struggle, from trauma, from disappointment. And instead of letting that pain destroy them, they decided to use it, to learn from it, to build something with it. They realized that the same fire that can burn you can also forge you. Pain is the pressure that carves diamonds out of coal. If you learn how to face it, how to feel it, how to rise through it, it will elevate you. There's a different kind of strength that comes from surviving what was meant to break you. There's a wisdom that only comes from walking through the storm. And when you find a way to turn that pain into purpose, you stop being a victim of your past and become a leader of your future. You stop asking, why did this happen to me? And start asking, how can I use this to help others? That shift changes everything, because now your story has meaning. Your scars have value. Your journey becomes a map for someone else's healing. Pressure works the same way. The weight you feel right now, the expectations, the deadlines, the doubt, the fear is not there to crush you. It's there to build you. It's there to teach you how to handle more. Pressure is a sign of growth. No one trains without resistance. No one levels up without friction. The more pressure you can manage, the more capacity you develop. And capacity is what separates those who rise from those who fall. You have to learn how to stand tall when the weight gets heavy, how to breathe when the world gets loud, how to keep moving when quitting looks easier. Progress doesn't come wrapped in comfort. It's born in the tension between who you are and who you're becoming. Every challenge, every setback, every sleepless night is shaping something in you that can't be developed any other way. You don't get strong without the weight. You don't grow without the squeeze. That's the truth most people avoid. But if you embrace it, if you learn to lean into the discomfort, you'll unlock a level of resilience most never touch. You're not being buried, you're being planted. And the difference is in your perspective. One ends in darkness, the other begins in it. One is about loss, the other is about rebirth. When you realize that your pain has a purpose and your pressure is producing progress, you stop dreading it. You start respecting it. You start using it as a tool. You stop trying to survive and start learning how to thrive. There's gold in the ground you thought would swallow you. There's breakthrough on the other side of what broke you. You just have to decide that your story doesn't end at the pain, that the pressure is not permanent, that every ounce of struggle will become your testimony, because the fire is not the end, it's the beginning of your rise. Motivation is a spark. It feels good. It gets you started. It gives you a rush of energy, a wave of inspiration that makes you believe anything is possible. But motivation fades. It comes and goes like the weather. Some days you feel unstoppable, and other days you can't even get out of bed. If you rely on motivation alone, you'll move only when you feel like it. And that's the problem. Feelings are fickle. They change with your mood, your circumstances, your sleep, your stress. If you wait to feel ready, you'll be waiting for the rest of your life. Discipline is different. Discipline shows up whether you feel like it or not. Discipline doesn't ask how you feel. It doesn't check the weather. It doesn't wait for inspiration. Discipline is commitment in motion. It's the decision to honor your word long after the mood you made the promise in has passed. It's doing what needs to be done, even when the thrill is gone, even when no one is watching, even when you'd rather do anything else. That's what separates the winners from the wishers. Every successful person you admire has one thing in common: discipline. Not talent, not luck, not constant motivation, discipline. The ability to keep going when it's boring, to repeat the basics when it's not exciting, to stick to the plan when there's no applause. That's where greatness is built. Not in the big moments, but in the small choices, repeated daily with relentless consistency. You don't become excellent by accident. You earn it through effort, day in and day out, over and over again. Discipline is a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets. The first time you show up to the gym when you don't feel like it, it's hard. The 10th time, it's easier. The 100th time, it's who you are. That's the power of discipline. It shapes your identity. It rewires your habits. It builds a version of you that can't be swayed by emotions or setbacks. When you build discipline, you build trust with yourself. You stop breaking promises to you. You stop negotiating with your excuses. You stop being a slave to comfort. Motivation might light the fire, but discipline keeps it burning. It's what keeps you moving when the excitement dies down. It's what keeps you locked in when distractions scream for your attention. It's what keeps your feet grounded when everything around you is shifting. The discipline says, I don't need to feel like it to do it. It says, my future matters more than my comfort. It says, I choose long-term growth over short-term pleasure. This is where real transformation happens. Not when you're inspired, but when you're consistent. Not when it's easy, but when it's inconvenient. Discipline is what allows you to stack days of effort, build momentum, and create results that last. It's the glue between your goals and your success. It's the quiet force behind the loud wins. People may see the outcome, but discipline is the process that got you there. You're not always going to feel fired up. You're not always going to want to grind. That's normal. That's human. But you still have to show up. You still have to do the work. That's what it means to be committed. That's what it means to live with purpose. You can't wait for motivation. You have to develop discipline, because when the hype fades,